Beloved seekers of truth, O souls who long to see beyond appearances, I observe in your eyes a restless gleam, a search for something more, something that eludes you. Do you, perchance, live shrouded in shadows, accepting as reality that which is merely a pale reflection of truth? Many of you, without knowing it, are chained, and your prison has no visible bars, but resides in the mind. This is the great illusion, a veil that prevents you from seeing the light of knowledge, the true form of being. But I, Plato, your guide on the path of wisdom, come today to invite you on an inner journey, to unveil the chains that bind you. For in truth, I say to you, you are trapped in an illusion, just like the inhabitants of that parable of mine, the allegory of the cave. If your spirit yearns to free itself from these shadows and ascend to the light of true understanding, remain with me until the end of this message. Together, we will uncover the path to reality, to the supreme good. Before these reflections deepen in your mind and the light of philosophy illuminates your path, please like this video so that the blessing of this message can reach more souls who seek truth and intellectual liberation. And follow this channel to continuously receive more teachings that will help you transform your life, cultivating wisdom and virtue with every step of your journey. To fully grasp the nature of this invisible prison, allow me to narrate an ancient parable, an image I created to illustrate the human condition. Imagine, my dear listeners, a peculiar scenario. From your birth, you were chained inside an underground cave in such a way that you could only look at the wall in front of you. Your necks were bound, preventing any other movement, any other view beyond that wall. Behind you, my friends, there was a crackling fire, casting its light on the back part of the cave. And between you and the fire, a low wall stood. Behind this wall, other men passed by, carrying statuettes, figures of animals, and various objects that extended above the wall's height. These men spoke, made sounds, and the voices seemed to come from the shadows that were projected. Your only reality, your only experience of life, were these shadows, flickering projections on the wall in front of you. You spoke of them. You discussed them. In them you found your entire universe of truths and facts. You never saw the real objects, the statuettes, the actual animals, only their projections. For you, the shadows were reality itself, unquestionable and absolute, for you had never known anything else. This, my friends, is your condition, though most of you do not know it. The cave is the material world that surrounds you, the realm of the sensible, of appearances that deceive the senses, and the chains that bind you, they are your limiting beliefs, ingrained prejudices, unexamined traditions, and others' opinions that you passively accept, without subjecting them to the scrutiny of reason. The shadows on the wall, then, are the illusions you mistake for truth, the distorted news you consume, the false promises of orators, the trivialities of empty entertainment, the superficialities that distract you from the pursuit of the genuine. Your mind, imprisoned by these chains, interprets these reflections as the sole and irrefutable reality, without considering the existence of something beyond, a higher dimension of truth and being. Now, imagine what would happen if one of you were freed from the chains. First, you would feel a piercing pain as you turned your neck, forced to gaze at the strong light of the fire, your eyes accustomed to the dimness being wounded. Then, as you were dragged out of the cave, towards the exit, the pain would be unbearable, and the darkness of the cave with its familiar shadows, would seem more comfortable than the blinding light outside. The sun, the very source of light and truth, would seem like an enemy. You would prefer the familiar comfort and illusory security of the shadows to this new and overwhelming reality. This, my dear ones, is the deep resistance many of you tend to have to truth. You prefer the familiarity of illusion and the comfort of ignorance to the initial discomfort of reality, which demands effort and a readjustment of vision. The journey of the freed prisoner is, in fact, the journey of the philosopher, of the seeker of truth in its essence. It is a path of ascent in knowledge. Slowly, with persistence and pain, he would become accustomed to the outer light. First, he would see the shadows of objects outside the cave, then the objects themselves reflected in water, and finally, the objects themselves in their full and perfect form. And then, at last, he would look directly at the sun. In that sublime moment, he would recognize the sun as the source of all light and all truth, understanding its essence and power as the supreme principle of intelligibility and existence. The sun, my dear ones, is the form of the good, the highest form of knowledge, the light that illuminates all other forms and makes possible the understanding of all that is true, beautiful, and just. Once the freed prisoner had contemplated the sun and ascended to the realm of pure knowledge, he would no longer wish to return to the cave. Life there, based on shadows and a false reality, would seem meaningless, a mere existence in illusion. However, out of compassion and a sense of duty towards his former companions, he would feel an irresistible need to return. His purpose in returning would be to share the truth he discovered, to help them free themselves from the chains of ignorance. But upon returning to the inside of the cave, his eyes, accustomed to the intense light of the sun, would be unaccustomed to the darkness. He would stumble, seem confused, and would have difficulty discerning the shadows that were once his only reality. And here lies one of the great tragedies of the human condition and of ignorance. Upon trying to convince the other prisoners that their realities were merely shadows, the newcomer would be ridiculed. His eyes, which shone with the sunlight of truth, would be seen as damaged by the darkness. He would be considered mad, a danger to the established order in the cave. The prisoners, comfortable in their illusion and attached to their certainties, would prefer to kill him rather than be forced to confront a truth that would dislodge them and compel them to leave their state of conformity. This resistance to truth is what I observe in your society, in your times, my friends. Reflect now, my friends. To whom do you resemble in the cave? Are you the chained prisoners, content with the shadows of daily life, the gossip, the empty entertainment programs, the superficial news, lacking depth or questioning? Or are you the manipulators who project the shadows, those who hold power and control information, keeping the majority in darkness? Or still, are you the liberators, those who seek the light and try to awaken others, even at the risk of being misunderstood and hostilely received? Dependence on material things, on transient possessions, on ephemeral fame, on others' opinions, on external validations. All these are shadows, imperfect projections of a greater reality. If your happiness and your worth depend on these projections, you are trapped. True wealth resides in the soul, in virtue, in pure knowledge. These are the real objects that inhabit the outer world of light, the eternal forms that give substance to your existence, and that will never be taken from you. The invitation is clear and urgent. Free yourselves from the chains of ignorance. Begin to question everything that is presented to you as absolute truth. Use reason, your most powerful tool, to scrutinize beyond appearances. Examine your own beliefs, your prejudices, your most ingrained certainties. It will be painful, yes, to accustom your eyes to the light, and the path may seem solitary. But the freedom you will find will be worth every step of the journey. The ascent of the soul is a continuous process. Do not delude yourselves into thinking that once freed, the journey is over. Each new level of knowledge reveals new shadows to be overcome, new illusions to be undone. It is a path of constant vigilance, of purification of the mind, and of an incessant search for the form of the good, which is the source of all your existence and all true reality. Do not fear the solitude of one who sees the light. Often the path of truth is solitary, for few dare to tread it. But know that, in the light, you are in the company of universal reason itself, of the very essence of knowledge. And that company is the most sublime of all, filling the soul with a peace that shadows could never offer. My beloved ones, may these words be the spark that ignites in you the desire to leave the cave. May your spirit yearn for the light of truth and the autonomy of thought. Don't forget to like this video so that the light of philosophy can bless more hearts in search of freedom. And follow this channel so that my teachings may continue to guide you on the path of wisdom and inner transformation, cultivating a life of purpose and meaning.